Shopping for clothes today can feel overwhelming, especially when a lot of brands are greenwashing to make their products seem more sustainable than they really are. One habit I've developed is always checking the material composition before buying new clothes. And honestly, it's shocking how many clothes are made out of 100% polyester in 2025. As someone who's trying to make more responsible fashion choices, I've learned to avoid polyester whenever possible. But why is that? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why polyester is harmful to both people and the planet. But before we dive in, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Louise, and I talk about how to engage with fashion in more conscious and sustainable ways. First, I want to talk about how is polyester produced. Polyester is a synthetic fiber derived from petroleum, making it essentially a type of plastic. So in very simplified terms, here is how polyester is made. It starts with extracting raw petroleum, which is then processed to create key chemicals called PTA and MEG. Then comes a process called polymerization, in which the chemicals are heated and combined to form a thick, sticky substance called polyester resin. The polyester resin is then cooled and cut into small chips or pellets. After that, the pellets are melted and pushed through tiny holes in order to create long polyester fibers. Next, the fibers are stretched to make them strong, and then they are treated for different textures and finishes. And finally, the fabrics are woven or knitted into fabric for clothing, home textiles, and more. I will put some links down below where you can learn more about polyester production. What you will notice is that the production process is incredibly resource demanding. It requires a significant amount of energy and water. Because polyester is made from fossil fuels, its production contributes to carbon emissions and global warming. So let's talk a little bit about why polyester is harmful to the planet and to us people. What's even worse with the production than just the emissions, polyester production is placed in areas where water supply is scarce. The factories use a lot of water, making the shortage even worse for local people who need it for farming, drinking, and cleaning. On top of that, the wastewater from polyester often has harmful chemicals, which can pollute rivers and lakes, and this puts both humans and nature at risk. And this makes polyester production especially damaging in areas that are already running low on water. Another key environmental concern with polyester is its contribution to plastic pollution. So every time polyester is washed, tiny plastic microfibers shed and make their way into waterways. So these microplastics are almost impossible to filter out, and they end up in our oceans where they harm marine life and eventually trickle their way back into our food chain. Also, unlike natural fibers like cotton or wool, polyester is non-biodegradable, meaning that it can take hundreds of years for polyester to break down in landfills. Even recycled polyester, which I'm going to talk more about in a minute, doesn't fully solve this problem. Some studies suggest that chemical used in polyester production could be absorbed by the skin and may have long-term health effects, but there isn't enough conclusive evidence to confirm this. However, people with sensitive skin may experience skin irritation or allergic reactions when wearing polyester, especially if the fabric has been treated with harsh dyes or chemical finishes. Now, back to what I said a little bit earlier about microplastics. A recent study found that on average, microplastics plastic levels are about 50% higher in brain samples from 2024 than in 2016 samples. So that's just 8 years. Because microplastics end up in the oceans and they enter our food chains again, we end up eating the plastics and it stays in our brains. And obviously, having plastic in our brains doesn't sound very healthy, but scientific evidence for how it can affect us is subject to intense study. Recycled polyester, often marketed as rPET, is typically made from plastic bottles that are melted down and spun into new fibers. There is a video on YouTube that I'm going to link down below in which you can see the polyester being recycled in a factory in India, which serves brands like Nike and Adidas. This video shows you how it works, and it also talks about some of the problems related to recycling polyester. In short, the process of recycling polyester is energy intensive and it still relies on petroleum-based plastic. Also, because polyester is shredded, the fibers are shorter, and oftentimes this means that it needs to be mixed in with virgin materials in order to produce new clothing. Polyester can therefore only be recycled a number of times before the fibers are useless, and so they will eventually end up in landfill anyway. Of course, prolonging the lifetime is a good thing, but the question is at what cost? I can also add that just like virgin polyester, recycled polyester still shreds microplastics when washed. With this said, some companies are working on more advanced recycling of polyester, breaking it down into raw components so that it can be reused without degrading the fiber quality. This is called closed loop recycling, and it has a lot of promise, but it's not yet very widely available, so it's not something that you would see on products currently being sold in the clothing stores. Polyester can be a good component in clothes that you want to withhold a certain shape, for instance, pleated skirts or dresses, because in this aspect it's extremely durable and it's going to stand the test of time. Polyester is also very common in swimwear and rainwear because it repels water and it dries very fast. For this reason, polyester is also popular in athleisure and sportswear, but because it is a synthetic material, it's actually less breathable than natural fibers like wool and cotton. But I understand that, of course, wearing cotton during a high intensity workout might not be the most comfortable choice. So I understand why polyester is used, and it all depends on your personal preference, but I don't think that wearing a pair of polyester leggings to the gym is a bad thing necessarily, because you need to stay comfortable when you work out, of course. To wrap this video up, is polyester really that bad? Well, the answer to that is yes, but there are nuances to consider. While I'm recording this video, polyester does still unfortunately dominate the fashion industry, and you will see it everywhere, but the environmental and health effects are significant. If you're looking to make more responsible choices, opting for natural fibers, shopping secondhand, or looking for closed loop recycling shops, that would be a great place to start. Let me know in the comments if you also try to avoid polyester when you go shopping. I would also like to hear your thoughts about recycled polyester, if you do consider that to be a good alternative. As always, if you did enjoy this video, please feel free to like this video, share it with a friend, and maybe subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every other Sunday, so I wish you the best week ahead, and I will see you again next time. Bye!